Sheldon Cooper from The Big Bang Theory has perfect pitch, but how did he discover that he has it? Well, this came about in the pilot episode of Young Sheldon, and it's not exactly realistic, so here's why. In The Big Bang Theory, Sheldon demonstrates his perfect pitch ability in several ways. When he had the ringing in his ears, he was able to identify the pitch and even sing it correctly.
How is it imaginary that I keep hearing an octave above middle C? Is that imaginary? I don't think so.
When drunk, he's shown singing and playing piano. The perfect pitch comes into play because he supposedly never practiced or learned the piano, but somehow can play the piano part to a tune from Fiddler on the Roof.
To life, l'chaim. L'chaim, to life. Life has a way of amusing us, blessing and bruising us. Drink l'chaim to life.
He isn't always accurate, though. In this clip, Sheldon states that the clinking of the glass is a B flat, but my ears and a tuner put it between a B flat and a B natural. Someone with perfect pitch would have noticed.
Can I have your attention, everyone? That's a B flat for those who don't have perfect pitch.
And in this clip, Sheldon whistles a whole step lower than the actual pitch that he says.
Have you noticed it's always an A flat?
Is it? Oh, gosh, it's like his sinuses are right here in the car.
Wait, doesn't Sheldon have an issue with whistling, though?
How did you guys become friends?
There was a flyer on the bulletin board at the university. Roommate wanted. Whistlers need not apply.
Oh, come on, really?
First warning.
Truthfully, as a whole, he isn't as consistent as he claims to be, like with language.
Having been raised in a Christian household, I'm uncomfortable with the language he used.
The reason he deceived you is you were being a pain in the ass.
But the reason I was being a pain in the B is because I was worried about him and no one else was.
Really? You won't even say A?
You bet your sweet B I won't. But then Will called Amy a pain in the ASS.
We have no choice, so you can either bitch and whine, or we can just get it over with.
I got wine.
I got the B word.
One more thing.
Yes?
It's on, bitch. Ah, gravity, thou art a heartless bitch.
I call Frodo!
Damn!
So let's see how he discovered he had perfect pitch.
Do you know this sonata?
No.
Naturally, we'd assume he took lessons at some point or played a toy piano at some point, but according to the pilot episode of Young Sheldon, he denies any time playing the piano, and we know he would brag about learning something, right?
How long have you played the piano?
I don't play piano.
So, how did he develop perfect pitch? This is random as far as I know, but can be guided to give children a higher chance of developing it by having them listening to more complex music. Now, this doesn't guarantee it, but similar to how we slowly understand language, music can fall into a similar category. As those with perfect pitch have said, they associate pitch sounds with things like numbers or a specific piece. To be able to identify exact pitches, Sheldon would have needed at least some guidance as to what pitch class associates with the name or key on the piano. Another observation about Sheldon to note is that there have been speculations that Sheldon is autistic or possibly has Asperger's. This is important because autistic individuals are said to be more likely to develop perfect pitch compared to those not diagnosed with ASD. So let's assume that Sheldon did have some toy piano or equivalent to play on that aided him in learning perfect pitch that gave him the pitch class names. There's more issues with this scene.
G minor. F. E flat. C minor.
There's no way Sheldon would have known what quality of chord is being played. He could tell you that there are 3 pitches being played and which is lowest, but that's it. So if a C, E, and G were played, he'd identify those notes and that's it. Maybe we'll get lucky and say that it's a C major chord, but if the G is changed to an A, he would have no knowledge that the C is no longer the root, and he wouldn't know that the chord is now minor. The easy solution to this would have been to include a line where he mentions having a toy keyboard, or maybe even that he heard his sister playing with one. From there, just nix the chord identification, especially since it doesn't prove perfect pitch. I personally was able to verify all the chords myself from my own RL training, and I don't have perfect pitch.
You should really pursue music.
Music actually returns towards the end of season 2 when Sheldon decides to learn violin. On the board in the classroom is some music labeled Beethoven Eroica Movement 2 Reduction. There's no clear shot of it all, but here's what it actually looks like. Now, according to Rubicon, I don't know what I'm talking about with music theory, but I think I know enough to point out a few errors here. First, the key signature is a bit off. D, E, and C flats? No, it should be B, E, and A flats. Second, while this is similar to the second movement of Beethoven's Eroica Symphony, I'm not sure where this reduction is from as the rhythm doesn't match the original symphony. As for the analysis, if we assume that the first beat in treble clef is a suspension, then this would be a minor 5, not major. The second measure would be a major 7, not diminished. First beat of the third bar is also a major 7, but also a 7 chord. The next chord should be a minor 5. And what do you know? If this A was moved down to a G, all the chord labels here would actually be correct. On with the episode though. If Sheldon does indeed have perfect pitch, then when he is playing Twinkle Twinkle, he should recognize that his pitch is off, yet he thinks he's doing well, at least at the start.
Did you hear that? I did it!
I don't think you did.
For the video he watches and his playing technique, I verified this with a violin friend to make sure what I saw was correct. And while not necessarily an error with the premise of the show, the way he's holding his bow is wrong. And he is initially playing on the bridge, again, wrong. Fingers are not in the correct spots for the pitches that we hear, and you can easily talk with the violin under your chin.
What's going on?
I'm learning to play the violin.
It's my new favorite show.
In later scenes, Sheldon moves down to the bottom 2 strings, while the tape he is watching, which isn't a real thing as far as I could tell, never shows the tune down a 5th. So why would he change as he's following the tape to the best of his abilities? And with perfect pitch, you'd stick with the tape.
Come on, think.
I find it interesting that they really went the extra mile in cases to make sure that Sheldon was correct on pitches, but other musical elements seem to not get the same attention. All in all, between The Big Bang Theory and Young Sheldon, the perfect pitch portrayal seems only partially accurate, and could have used some proofing from a real musician.